Hey everybody, I'm at Hollywood Candy Store in downtown Omaha, and I'm actually in the basement. We took like 2 flights of stairs to get down here. Upstairs is very busy. They have some very classic 1960s, 70s, 80s candy. You can kind of find them online these days. But I'm gonna see if I can shoot a video up there. But there's just a lot of people right now. And they have candy. They have historic toys and historic soft drinks. And I really would like to show that to you. But what caught my eye down here was that they have this. It's like a museum, but I think it was an active printing press. But what was interesting to me is in 1981, 82 time frame, I went to Woodrow Wilson Junior High in Glendale, California. I took woodworking and I took print shop. This is what we used in 1980 as a print shop. And we didn't do it on a historical basis to learn about how they did printing. It was the modern technology at the time. Computers were prevalent, but computers were not being used. We were using, it's called typeset. And some of you maybe watch this, you may know what typeset is, but I remember like the M spaces that we would use in between words was an M space. This is an M space here. In between sentences was a 2M space. And then there was a 3M space, and then these are all the letters, all the little types that we would have to use. So you'd get one, and you build them in these trays. So if I can show that to you. So you take each individual letter, and you would build it into a tray. And one of the projects we had was to make a business card, like a business card thing. And I don't know. I'll have to ask if they have any of the trays. But this is really like a museum down here now. It might have been an active printing press. But if you dropped your tray, that was the big deal. Like you had the tray, you're all ready to go to put it under the ink in the print. And it was funny when I was talking to the guy that curates it now and oversees it. I said, "Let me see your hands." And his hands had all the ink on his fingertips like we used to have when you always knew who took print shop in junior high school because the ink that was on our hands. So we had to do a business card, and then a poem, and then a paragraph of sorts. So once again, I have this in selfie mode, so everything you're going to see written-wise is going to be in reverse. But I'm not going to build anything. That's going to take way too long. But just let me show you around a little bit. So this is bigger font print. Look how big this, let me get up close so you can see what I'm talking about. Different size fonts. You may not be able to really tell the difference in the size. I'm being careful not to knock them down. But this is a different size. That's medium. This is the size I remember working with, these smaller size. Here's some really big ones here. Okay, I gotta show you this. You guys see this? Look above. Look above where it says the Beatles. That's backwards. This one you're seeing forwards, right? Ironically, you're able to see this one written as the way you can read it because it's, to me, when I look at it, it's printed backwards. I just saw this. So how weird that is printed backwards as an example for this exhibit. But there's a Beatles sign that you can definitely see that it's printed in the forward thing. This might be an example of what would be done at a printing press with the different fonts and different sizes. And once again, unfortunately, this is backwards for you guys. Very small print type here. It's very small, very, very small. We didn't use that small stuff, but let me go around and show you a little bit.
Right, yeah.
I mean, very likely all this stuff could have been. This is more like what I actually worked at, these little boxes. This looks more like it. This looks more like the stuff that I used. They were flat like this. I mean, if kids today had to do it, it would drive them crazy. You don't see these around anymore. These are typewriters. Here are some, like what, rubber stamps. Well, these aren't rubber, but these are stamps that you'd ink with. Let me show you around a little bit more. Upstairs it's a store museum where you had a lot of old artifacts, a lot of older items, but you can purchase stuff up there also. But this must have been an operational printing press session. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because I get them all the time across my desk.
More stamps. Here's some
Licenses.
Of course.
designs.
So, yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna walk around the other side real quick. Okay, so the archivist just found this. This is what we used. We put that little print type stuff. These are those trays I was talking about. And once you had, and that's like about business card size. So once you had your typeset set in there, you would bring it over to like the instructor, and people would drop them. If you drop them, you are done. All those little things like Skittles all over the floor, and it took you maybe, so you're in class for about 40 to 45 minutes. It would probably take you 2 weeks, 2 weeks to put a business card together between how little you were in class. And it was, and you drop it, oh man, I dropped it. But anyways, this is what it looks like. This is the tray that the typeset went into. This, I don't think anybody uses this stuff anymore. I don't think they do. I'm going to ask them, but I don't think anybody, why would you? You can get the business cards for cheap these days, or print them on your own off your computer. Who's going to use this stuff anymore?
When the motor's running, you have about a 4-second window to get your piece of paper out and then put a new piece of paper in. Yeah, and this originally had a foot pedal that operated it, and then the previous owner took the foot pedal off and replaced it with a motor.
Would that be operational if we wanted to use it today?
Yep.
You guys are living in a real niche area.
So would that machine just be used for posters or newspapers, or just one page at a time?
This is a book press, so this would probably be used for books, flyers, things like that. Today, this is what would be used for like business cards, things like that, because it has a smaller size. So you're limited to the size of your chase, which is about that big.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's called a chase?
Yep, this frame is called a chase.
Now, is anything, how are business cards and everything, is any of this technology being used today in mass production?
Not really. So this is called relief printing. So relief printing is where you take an object, put ink directly onto it, and then hit paper. And then in the 70s, you had what was offset printing starting to get more popular, which is where different types of ink are put together very quickly. And then now we use digital printing, which is all just through ink just going straight over and have different ink jets, things like that.
So this is definitely a skilled, this is a skilled talent.
Yeah,
a skilled learned talent.
Yes. This is definitely considered a craft. So it's, different printers have different skill levels, and you can tell when something's really printed well versus not, things like that. So
if somebody wanted to get something like this done or learn it, they're really going to have to invest some time in that.
It's definitely a skill. Takes some time to get the hang of how all the equipment works, all the machines work.
Yeah. How did all this stuff end up in this basement?
It's been acquired through different people. So newspapers that have gone out of business, hobbyists, different people like that. So Larry's our owner. He's been collecting.
You want to say hello, Larry? Larry's been collecting. So this room that we're standing in right now was not an active printing press room. It just happens to be where everything ended up.
This stuff wasn't in this room in March. This is an empty room.
Oh man!
Last
There's
March,
like a newspaper print.
This has happened within the last year.
That's a
None of this was
newspaper.
in.
Yeah.
Printing press out there, right?
Not
We
operating all
moved
over.
all this in, painted it all, built it all. There was nothing down here.
That's just an amazing amount of
Stuff.
Oh yeah.
Moved. Yeah. Amazing amounts.
Did you have an inversion table?
No, I didn't
Not
do
yet.
it. Well, I've got a couple of guys that did most of it, that did all the work for me. You know, the guy worked on the window mill was painting. Wow. And he's kind of anal about painting, so it's like, okay, go for it. And he doesn't mind climbing up there and painting.
I talked to the guy just now that owns it. He's has to head out. He's behind me, and I asked him. I go, "What was your motivation? How'd you get into this?" And he said he grew up in the area, and there was a doctor that lived next door to him, and he would pull weeds, dandelions, and the doctor would give him X amount of money for how many weeds he would pull. And when he made enough, the very first thing he purchased with his earned money was a little box set, print shop little thing, hobby at the hobby level. So he got that, and I didn't get a chance to ask him if he had done it as a trade, if he got technically trained to do it. But he acquired a lot of these things. He got that one first area I stopped off at. He got that from Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. I guess they still do some printing there. But everything that we're accustomed to today, they don't use this technology anymore. This is a museum, and what would what would be kind of cool, and I think I asked in the previous segment, was how would somebody learn to do this? And it's a learned art, it's a learned craft, it's a learned trade, and to get somebody to actually have the patience to do it. And I really didn't have the patience to do it in junior high school. I never took print again. It was just crazy. I might ask if I can get my name in some of the typecast, just for nostalgia, and see what he says. There's a lot of it. Maybe just my initials, maybe just 2 letters, just to say, hey, show my kids, this is what I used to have to do it on. Here's some more trays that look very familiar to what I had to deal with. It was like on this, like this is.
We'll have to find something because otherwise we'll be changing our title. Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, this is what I'm pointing out here is about the size of a business card, and I just messed it up. Let me show you what I did. I touched this line, and these are all letters. So if they fall like that, you got to start all over again. So basically, you got to have really good eyesight and finger dexterity. But all that stuff moves. See that? See how that moves like that? And push it back into a sentence. Well, anyways, I don't know. I hope some of you guys found this interesting. This is very interesting to walk down memory lane for me on a craft and a trade that I attempted, but I never really followed through with. Here's another framework thing. All right, so hope you enjoyed this. We're still in Omaha. I might do some shots upstairs, but this was just an amazing amount of history here to actually see all the tools and the trades. You will not see this stuff anymore. No one's going to mass produce anything using this technology, but it's cool that this guy can show you how to do it. All right, take care, everybody. Have a good day.